The Price of Prejudice. The Silva Family After Dinner. Chapter 1. The Consequences of Hatred. 2 years after the fateful dinner, the Silva family's colonial mansion in Alto de Pinheiros, which for generations had echoed with laughter and celebrations, now looked like a mausoleum. Dona Marta, at 76 years old, sat alone in the dining room that could seat 30 people, looking at the Irish linen tablecloth that she had had washed and restored dozens of times, but the milk stain had never completely come out. The stain that Lucas, her 5-year-old grandson, had spilled. The grandson she had rejected for being black. The grandson she hadn't seen in 2 years. The phone rang. It was Ricardo, her eldest son. "Mom, we need to talk. In person." Marta recognized the tone. They were the same words she had used when summoning that disastrous dinner. "Come now." An hour later, Ricardo arrived accompanied by Berenice and Augusto, Marta's 3 children reunited for the first time since the adoption scandal. "Mom, the construction company is in serious trouble," Ricardo went straight to the point. "Since Pedro left, we lost not only him, but our reputation. The remaining clients found out why he left. And many abandoned us." "What do you mean?" Marta frowned. "The world has changed, Mom," Berenice interjected. "Companies today value diversity and inclusion. When it leaked that the Silva family rejected a black child, we became pariahs in the corporate market." "Leaked? Who leaked?" "No one needed to leak," Augusto said bitterly. Anna herself posted about adoption and family challenges on her social media. She didn't mention names, but everyone in our social class knew who she was talking about. And the worst part, she gained thousands of followers. She became a reference in adoptive motherhood. Meanwhile, Ricardo continued, "We've become an example of everything that's wrong with the old Sao Paulo elite. Veiled racism, class prejudice, family rejection. The construction company lost 60% of its revenue in 2 years. I'll have to lay off 50 employees." Marta paled. 50 families. Yes, 50 families will be left without income because we insist on maintaining appearances and traditions that the world considers abominable. "I'm not racist," Marta weakly defended herself. "Aren't you?" Berenice exploded. "You called your own grandson clumsy, uncultured, said he would never belong to the family. Why? Because his skin is dark. If that's not racism, what is?" "I was protecting our lineage. Our lineage is dying anyway." Ricardo stood up, furious. "My teenage children hate me. Do you know what Sofia, my 16-year-old daughter, told me yesterday? That she's ashamed of the surname Silva. That when she goes to university, she'll use her mother's name. And Eduardo, who is 14, asks every week when he can meet his cousin Lucas." "My children too," Berenice admitted. "Julia is 12 years old and is learning about racism at school. She came home crying, saying that her family is the kind of people the teacher talks about, people who perpetuate structural prejudice." Augusto, the quietest, finally spoke. "Do you know what my wife told me, Mom? That if we're invited to her 80th birthday party, she'll refuse. She doesn't want our children to grow up thinking that racism is acceptable." Marta felt the world collapse. "Are you blaming me for the company's situation?" "Not just for the company," Ricardo said, sitting back down, exhausted. "For the whole family. Pedro was the most talented of us. The best architect. And we pushed him out. Why? Because of stupid pride. He chose a child over his family. He chose his son over prejudice." Berenice shouted. "And he made the right choice. Meanwhile, we're here going bankrupt." A heavy silence fell over the room. "What do you want me to do?" Marta finally asked, her voice small. "Apologize," Ricardo said simply. "To Pedro, to Anna, and especially to Lucas. Apologize sincerely. And pray that they accept. And if they don't, then at least you will have done the right thing." Finally, 3 months later, Marta was in front of the mirror, adjusting the pearl necklace she had worn for 50 years. Next to her, on the dresser, was the address Ricardo had given her, Pedro and Anna's apartment in Jardins. She hadn't been invited. She was going unannounced because she knew that if she called, she would probably be rejected. And she would deserve it. The driver took her. Throughout the journey, she mentally rehearsed what she would say. Apologies didn't come easily to Marta Cristina Silva. She arrived at the elegant building. The doorman was polite but didn't recognize her. He waited for several long minutes. The answer came. "You can come up." Anna opened the door. Older, with a few gray hairs, but with that same dignity that had irritated Marta that fateful night. "Mrs. Marta." "Anna. May I come in?" Anna hesitated visibly, but made room. "Pedro is at work. Lucas is at school. Actually, I came to talk to you." Woman to woman. They sat down in the living room. Marta looked around, she saw photos everywhere. Baby Lucas, child Lucas, teenage Lucas. Growing up, smiling, living a life she had chosen not to be a part of. I came to apologize, Marta began, and to her surprise, tears began to roll down her cheeks. I came to apologize for everything I said that night. For everything I did. For everything I failed to do. Anna said nothing, only observed. I was raised in a different time, Anna. It's not an excuse, it's context. My mother taught me that family was about blood, lineage, sticking together like equals. And I internalized that so deeply that when I saw that boy, all I saw was difference. I didn't see a grandson. I saw a threat to the order I knew. He was 5 years old, Anna said softly. 5 years old, and you made him feel unworthy of love. I know, and I'll carry that until I die. But Anna, Marta looked directly at her, you did something extraordinary. You took an abandoned child and gave him not only a home, but an identity. You fought and you won. I didn't win. We're still fighting today. Lucas still suffers racism. He still questions his place in the world. But at least he has a solid foundation of love, which I could have given too. And I didn't. My other grandchildren, Ricardo's children, Berenice, Augusto, they grew up knowing that grandma is racist. That values matter more than people to me. They're ashamed of me, Anna. My own grandchildren are ashamed. Anna felt a pang in her chest. She recognized genuine pain when she saw it. Why are you here, Dona Marta? Really? Because the construction company is going bankrupt. Because my family is falling apart. Because I'm 76 years old and I realize I built an empire of vanity that's crumbling. And because, she paused, her voice breaking, because at night, when I close my eyes, I see that boy's face. At dinner, when he dropped the glass. He wasn't being naughty. He was nervous. He was trying. And I destroyed him. He survived. But it should have been more than survival. It should have been love. Anna stood up, went to the bookshelf and took a photo album. She returned and placed it in Marta's lap. These are 7 years of the life you lost. Marta opened it with trembling hands. Photo after photo of Lucas. On his first day of school, a shy smile, impeccable uniform. At a guitar recital, focused, serious. On trips, to the beach, to the mountains. A whole life. A whole childhood. She had lost everything. He's beautiful, Marta whispered. And he seems happy. He's happy, despite everything, because we decided that our love would be greater than any hatred we might encounter. Can I meet him? Again? Start over? Anna closed the album. I don't know, Dona Marta. It doesn't depend only on me. Lucas is 13 now. He's practically a young adult. He understands what happened that night. And he remembers. He remembers? Every word, every look. Marta covered her face with her hands. What I did. But, Anna continued, he also learned about forgiveness. About second chances. So I'm going to propose something. You start therapy. Not for us, but for you. Work on this internalized prejudice. And in 6 months, if you've genuinely done this work, we can try another meeting. But on our conditions. In neutral territory. I accept. Anything. Any condition. And there's one more thing. Anna stood up. You're going to write a letter. To Lucas. Explaining everything. Apologizing. Not expecting forgiveness, just being honest. He deserves that. All right. Today. At the door, before leaving, Marta turned around. Anna, thank you. For not hating me. For giving my family a chance that I didn't give yours. I'm not doing this for you, Dona Marta. I'm doing it for Lucas. Because every child deserves to have a complete family, if possible. That night Pedro arrived home and found Anna in the kitchen, looking at a sealed letter on the table. What's this? My mother-in-law came here today. Pedro froze. What? Did she do something? Did she offend you? No. She apologized. Truly. She cried. And she wrote this to Lucas. Pedro picked up the envelope, but didn't open it. What did you tell her? That she needs to go to therapy for 6 months. Then we can consider supervised meetings. Do you think she'll do it? I think she's desperate enough. The construction company is going bankrupt, her grandchildren hate her, her family is falling apart. She's reaping what she sowed. And you feel sorry for her? Anna thought. I do. Not pity that absolves her, but pity for an old woman realizing that her values have left her alone. It's a Greek tragedy, really. Shall we show the letter to Lucas? Yes. He has the right to decide. But I'll prepare the ground first. Tomorrow, after school, we'll talk. Chapter 2. The Path to Redemption. 6 months later, Dona Marta was in the waiting room of Dr. Clarice Montenegro, a psychologist specializing in racial issues. It was her 23rd session in 6 months, twice a week, religiously. At first, it had been painful. Dr. Clarice, a 45-year-old black woman, did not accept her empty excuses or historical justifications. She forced Marta to confront uncomfortable truths about herself. Mrs. Marta, Clarice had said in the first session, you need to understand that it's not just about that dinner. It's about a lifetime of small prejudices that culminated in that moment. We're going to deconstruct this brick by brick. And they did. Marta learned about structural racism, how her innocent preferences actually perpetuated discrimination. How to cross the street when she saw a young black man. How to compliment someone for being black but polite. She learned about colorism, about how curly hair was politicized, about how every choice, every word, every action carried centuries of oppression. In the most difficult sessions, Clarice made her watch videos of black children talking about rejection. To see the mirror of what Lucas must have felt, Marta left those sessions physically ill with shame. But she also learned. She read books, Little Anti-Racist Handbook, by Jamila Ribeiro, The Hate You Give. She participated in discussion groups with other elderly people, confronting her own prejudices. She went through all the stages of grieving for her former self. I'm grieving who I was, she told Clarice in a particularly emotional session. And it's terrifying, because if everything I believed was wrong, who am I? Someone who can choose to be better from now on, Clarice replied. The reunion. Anna chose a neutral cafe in Villa Maddalena for the meeting. Lucas, now 13, was nervous. Over the past 6 months, he had read his grandmother's letter dozens of times. A 5-page handwritten letter, where Marta spared no expense. I don't have to do this if I don't want to, Anna reminded him for the 3rd time. I know, Mom, but I want to at least hear what she has to say. Pedro was with them too, his arm protectively around Lucas. Marta arrived punctually. She seemed smaller, somehow. More fragile. She wore a simple dress. She approached the table slowly, like someone approaching a frightened animal. Lucas, she said, her voice trembling. Thank you for agreeing to see me. Lucas simply nodded. Everyone sat down. An uncomfortable silence. I don't know where to begin, Marta admitted. I've rehearsed 1,000 times. But now the words escape me. Start at the beginning, Pedro suggested, his tone neutral. Marta took a deep breath. Lucas, I owe you an apology that words cannot express. That night, when you were 5 years old, I hurt you in a way that no child should be hurt. And it wasn't a moment of uncontrolled anger. It was prejudice. Prejudice that I had carried for decades and that I unleashed on you. Lucas listened, expressionless. For the past 6 months, I've been in therapy. Twice a week, with a black psychologist who didn't pity me and forced me to confront who I was. I discovered that I was actively harmful. Why did you change? Lucas asked, his first words. Why now? Because I lost everything. The construction company is in crisis. My grandchildren avoid me. And I realize I built a castle of vanity that crumbled, leaving only emptiness. So you're here because you lost things. Not because you understand that what you did was wrong. The question was sharp. Marta deserved it. Both things, she admitted. Initially, it was the pain of loss that forced me to look in the mirror. But in the process, I really understood. I saw videos of black children talking about rejection. And I saw you in each one of them. And it broke something in me. Lucas looked at Anna, who nodded discreetly. Did you read my letter? Marta asked. I did. Several times. Then you know I don't expect forgiveness. Just a chance to meet my grandson, to learn who you are, to be present, if you allow it. And what happens, Lucas asked, when I do something that displeases you? What if I don't meet your expectations? Will you reject me again? No. How can I trust that? You can't, Marta said honestly. Not yet. I've broken your trust devastatingly. I can only rebuild it with time and consistent actions. If you give me that chance. Lucas looked at Pedro, then at Anna. Grandma, he used the term for the first time, and saw Marta choke with emotion. I'll give you a chance. But on certain conditions. You'll have to prove it, not just talk. And if at any point I feel you're being fake, or that you've reverted to your old habits, I'll leave. And I won't come back. I accept. Completely. And one more thing. You can't speak ill of my mother. Or my father. Or me for being black. If you can do that, we can try. I can do it. I will. Lucas extended his hand across the table. A formal gesture, not an intimate one. But a start. Marta took his hand, tears streaming down her face. 3 months later, the meetings took place every 2 weeks. Always in public. Always with Anna and/or Pedro present. Coffee, park, museum. And slowly, carefully, something began to be built. Not the traditional grandmother-grandson relationship that had been lost, but something new, more conscious. Marta kept her word. She never missed a meeting. She never made questionable comments. When she slipped up, and she did slip up, because unlearning prejudices is an ongoing process, she corrected herself. One day, Lucas mentioned that he was having problems at school with a teacher who made subtle racist comments. "Tell me more," Marta asked. Lucas hesitated, but told her. Marta listened, her face growing progressively redder. "This is unacceptable," she finally said. "I know, but it's hard to prove. They are microaggressions. Leave it to me." Anna intervened. "Mrs. Marta, we are dealing with this." "I know, but can I help? Not by controlling, but by supporting?" 2 days later, Marta, using all her influence as a former school principal and member of society, scheduled a meeting with Lucas's school principal. She brought documentation about racism in the school environment. She spoke, for the first time in her life, as an anti-racist ally. The teacher was officially reprimanded. Lucas, when he found out, was shocked. "You did that?" "I did. And I will do it whenever necessary. I can't change what I did in the past. But I can use my privilege to protect you." Chapter 3. The Transformed Legacy. 5 years later, Lucas, 18 years old. Donna Marta's 80th birthday was planned as an intimate celebration in her own mansion. But this time, the mansion was different. The walls that previously displayed only portraits of Portuguese ancestors now included photos of the entire family, with Lucas prominently featured. In the garden, there was decoration celebrating diversity. 100 guests, but a very different mix from the homogeneous elite of before. Members of the support group for adoptive families that Anna coordinated were present. Black colleagues of Dr. Clarice. Employees of the construction company that Ricardo had managed to save by shifting the focus to inclusive architecture. Lucas arrived with Anna and Pedro, now an 18-year-old, in his first year of aerospace engineering. Marta saw him from the balcony and came down immediately. 5 years of encounters had built something real. "My grandson," she hugged him. "Happy birthday, Grandma." The party began. Speeches were made. Ricardo spoke about how the company reinvented itself by embracing the values it had previously rejected. "Today, 40% of our workforce is black. We learned that diversity is not a favor, it's business intelligence." Berenice spoke about how her children now felt proud of a family that acknowledged mistakes. When it was Marta's turn to speak, she asked Lucas to come up to the small stage with her. "Many of you know my story," she began. 8 years ago, I made one of the biggest mistakes of my life. I rejected my grandson because he didn't meet my prejudiced expectations." He looked at Lucas beside him. "That night, I said cruel things to a 5-year-old child. And for years, I lived with the consequence. I lost not only a grandson, but my own humanity. But this extraordinary young man beside me gave me a second chance. Lucas, you taught me that family isn't about shared blood, but about chosen love. That traditions that cause pain should be broken. That it's possible to learn to be better." He picked up a box that was on the stage and handed it to him. "This was supposed to be your 18th birthday present. But it's more than that." Lucas opened it. Inside was a legal document, the deed to the Silva mansion. "I don't understand," he said. "This house is now yours. To do whatever you want with. But my wish is that you transform it into a home for adoptive families. A place where children waiting for love can come. A real legacy, not of exclusion, but of inclusion." Lucas was speechless. "Grandma, I can't accept that." "Yes, you can. It's my final request. Transform the place where I rejected you into a place where other children will find acceptance." Lucas looked at Anna and Pedro, who nodded. "Then I accept. But on one condition. You will help manage it." "It would be my honor." The audience erupted in applause. 2 years later, Lucas, 20 years old. The Silva mansion had been completely renovated. Maintaining the historical structure but modernizing the interior, it now housed the Lucas Silva Institute for Adoption Support. Marta was there every Wednesday and Saturday, a dedicated volunteer. At 82 years old, she welcomed families with genuine warmth. One Saturday, she was in the library when a white woman arrived with a black girl of about 6 years old. "Hello," Marta greeted. "First time here?" "Yes," the woman said nervously. "We adopted Sophia 3 months ago. And it's difficult. My family doesn't accept it. They think I made a mistake." Marta knelt in front of the girl. "Hi, Sophia, I'm Mrs. Marta. You know, I have a very special grandson who is also adopted." "You do?" The girl's eyes lit up. "I do. And at first, I was very stupid. I didn't accept him, but he and his parents taught me to be better." "Was your family angry with you?" the mother asked. They were. But over time, some understood. Others didn't. And that's okay. Sometimes we have to choose between pleasing people or doing the right thing. Always choose to do the right thing. The woman began to cry. It's so difficult. I feel so alone. You're not alone, Marta took her hand. There's a whole community here. And I can tell you from my own experience, your love is worth more than any family approval. That's a gift.